Hi everybody, I am going to discuss parameterized constructor in C++. Subject is C++ and topics is constructor. And the subtopics is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. C++ permit us to achieve of passing arguments or parameters. C++ permit us to achieve passing arguments or parameters to the constructor function. When the object is created. When the object is created. C++ permit us to achieve a passing of arguments or parameters to the constructor function when the object is created. The constructor that can take arguments. The constructor that can take arguments are called parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. The constructor that can take arguments are called parameterized constructors. So parameterized constructor are those that can take parameter or argument in a constructor function. The constructor which can take parameters is known as parameterized constructor. For example, has include iostream dot h you can iostream has include iostream using namespace std class. Suppose name of the class is rectangle. And the private member of the class consists of integer length and breadth. These are the two variables. And public consists of constructor name is rectangle, and it can take parameter that is int x, int y. This is the name. Rectangle is the name, same as class name. That's why it is known as constructor. So when constructor can take parameters, these are called parameters. Where constructor can take parameter, it is known as parameterized constructor. When constructor can take parameter, it is known as parameterized constructor. This one is parameter constructor. Now these values x and y, this parameter is used to transfer the data to the private member, that is the initialization of the data member, that is L equal to x. The value of x is copied to L and the value of y is copied to B and B equal to y. So this is the parameterized constructor. This is known as parameterized constructor. So when a constructor passes parameter from the object, it is known as parameterized constructor. Now suppose there is a function, function is void, and the function name is void area. Suppose the function name is void area. There is a local function. Suppose function is a integer. This is a local function, local variable. This is a local variable, integer a equal to this local variable. It is used to multiply the value of a and b. Used to multiply and store the result into a. এখানে আমরা প্রাইভেট যে ভেরিয়েবলগুলো ইউজ করছি সেটা ক্লাসের জন্য আমি অ্যাক্সেস করব এভরি টাইম অবজেক্ট ক্রিয়েট সময় এই ভেরিয়েবলগুলো অ্যাক্সেস হবে। বাট এই যে ভেরিয়েবলটা ইউজ করছি সেটা এরিয়া ম্যাথ যে ফাংশনটা, সেই ফাংশনটা নিজস্ব ভেরিয়েবল, এই জন্য এটা লোকাল ভেরিয়েবল এবং সেটাকে প্রিন্ট করেছি আমরা স্ল্যাশ এন এরিয়া ইজ capital A is the end of the void area function and this is the end of the class. So this is the simple concept of parameterized constructor. This is a simple concept of parameterized constructor. This class has a constructor which can take the parameter during the object creation and used to initialize the value parameter to the data members of the class. And this function is a normal function. This is not a special. It is a normal function. It is used to multiply those values a and b and store the result into the variable a. Now the int main. Now the main function is there. This is the main. int main. তোমরা যখন প্রোগ্রামটা করবে এই উপর থেকে টপ ডাউন করে তারপর নিচে নেমে যাবে। আমি জায়গা নেই বলে এটা এখানে লিখেছি। তো তোমরা যখন প্রোগ্রামটা করবে কন্টিনিউয়াসলি করে মেইন অবধি করবে। int main. তো নেম অফ দ্য ক্লাস ইজ রেক্ট্যাঙ্গেল. So this is the name of the class, and we know the class is the structure, logical structure, and an object is the reality. The name of the object is R1. It is the object. The object is the variable of the class. This is the class, it is the variable. And suppose the parameter are 5, 6. These are the parameters. These are the actual parameter. 5 is copied to x and 6 is copied to y. This x is transferred to L and 6 is transferred to y is transferred to b. And when you call r1 dot area, then we can easily get the result, that is 5 into 6 equal to 30 and the area is 30. So return 0. So this is the simple concept of parameter constructor. When a constructor, when a object is created, it can take parameters. This parameter is known as, when an object is created, this parameter is known as the object can take parameter. This parameter is known as parameterized constructor, because this parameter is used to transfer the value to the constructor x and y, and this constructor is used to assign the value to the data member L and B. So this is known as parameterized constructor. The simple example of parameterized constructor. Let's consider the example with the following diagram. Suppose this is a main. We know the main is the entry point for every C or C++ compilation of program. So main create R1 object. So R1 main create R1 object. R1 object has two data member, that is L and B, and two function member. One of them is rectangle, another is area. So these are the two function member within the public. And we know that main can call the public, directly access the public. Main directly public access করতে পারে। যখন আমি পাবলিক অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারবো, সে মেনের মধ্যে যে ভ্যালুগুলো আমি পাঠাচ্ছি, মেনের মধ্যে যে অবজেক্টটা তৈরি করেছি R1, সেখানে আমরা ভ্যালু সাপ্লাই দিচ্ছি 5 আর 6। then 5 is and 6, these 5 is transferred to this x. So 5 is transferred to x and 6 is transferred to y. And this x, these y, they are called formal parameter. They are known as formal parameter, parameterized constructor. The constructor has parameter, so that's why it is called parameter constructor. The 5 is copied to x and 6 is copied to y. This x is transferred to L, meaning 5 is transferred to L and 6 is transferred to B. Now the object is the member of the private member of the object is initialized. The member is initialized. The purpose of constructor is to initialize the data member of the class. So it is initialize the data member of the class. So initialized by the help of parameters. This parameter is given to main transfer to the original constructor, that is parameter constructor. Then parameter constructor initialize the private member of the class. Now we can easily access call area function. Area will fetch the value of 5 and 6 and multiply those value, will get a equal to 30 and the result is a, that is 30. This concept is known as parameterized constructor. Now, parameter mean the value passes through main when the object is created. That value can be constant. You can pass the value as this way. Suppose there are two variable pq, cout, enter two value. You can take the value from the keyboard, enter two values. The values গুলো নিয়ে নেব. Scene can take the value, that is p and q, দুটো ভ্যালু নিয়ে নিলাম. এবার তুমি অবজেক্টটাকে ক্রিয়েট করো. তো রেক্টেঙ্গেল একটা অবজেক্ট তৈরি করলাম, রেক্টেঙ্গেল থেকে r2 একটা অবজেক্ট করলাম, যেখানে p আর q কে আমি পাস করিয়ে দিলাম. তো অ্যান্ড r2 ডট আমরা এরিয়া কল করলাম, তখন এরিয়াটা আমরা পেয়ে যাব, রিটার্ন 0. তো ইউ ক্যান এক্সটেন্ড দ্য প্রোগ্রাম ইন দিস ওয়ে. যদি আমরা এখান থেকে আরও এক্সটেন্ড করি, দুটো ভেরিয়েবল নিলাম pq, p and q is the integer variable, then the value যে কোনো ভ্যালু, এটাতে 5 and 6 এ কি অসুবিধা আছে, অল টাইম ইট উইল শোজ 30, বাট যদি আমরা নিজের মতো ভ্যালু নিতে চাই, এনি টাইম উই ক্যান কনসিডার 2, 3, 7, 9, any value we can take from the keyboard. So this is the p and q are two variable. Here pq 5 and 6 are constant. Then you can consider p is there is a memory location, q is another memory location. You can input any value to that location and that value will be stored, p and q, and p is copied to, when there is suppose p is 5 and q is 10, then p is copied to x, q is copied to y, x is transferred to l, and y is transferred to be. That is p is copied to x, p is copied to x, q is copied to y, x is copied to l, y is copied to b. So this is the technique of parameterized constructor. Parameter constructor is very useful when we have to initialize some value from the object. So this is a very important concept, is known as parameterized constructor.